Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Locker Room Access post-game show with Spencer Hensky, Little Ski, Forrest Wasim, and I'm Mark Jerome. Well, was a butt whooping Memphis laid on us. But here's my take on it. Actually, before I get to my take on it, Forrest, you were on the squad for so long. You've been part of the team. Outside of Gonzaga, when is the last time we've been beat up like this?
That's a great question. I think I was literally talking to someone about that during the game. I don't know when the last time was. Gonzaga is a good example. That was quite a beating. I'm not sure when the last one was though. We'd have to. I was comparing years more, so I was like, what does this feel like? Like, does this feel like the year after the national championship or London senior? I don't know. I was like, what year does this feel like? That was what I was more going for. But yeah, beating wise, I'm not. I mean, Florida was there, but Gonzaga happened after that.
London
That's true.
year, Wisconsin this season that's the point. That's true. London's senior year, Carolina. That was pretty tough, right? That was Kyle and Ty and Dre's freshman year.
On the road at Houston, that's a good one.
Yeah, this was more of a slow death because we were in it until like 9-10 minutes left to go in the game. Gonzaga, they just put it on us from the start.
Gonzaga put it on us.
Although they put this on us at the start. We were down 13-1.
Yeah, but we were
in the beginning. We came back though.
We were within reach, right? 8 points and a half, and it was closer. It got to 3, got to 5.
Yeah, we climbed back. It was a game. Gonzaga was, I don't think, ever a game. That one was just from the tip.
So here's my take on this game, right? Older, stronger, faster Memphis team, roster full of 4th and 5th year guys who can play, who are athletic, big and strong, versus UVA's guys who don't have a ton of experience, especially at this level, outside of Reese, who performed pretty well. But it exposed us who we are, right? And they played us the exact right way. They pressured us. They got in us. The number of turnovers, I think it was 18 turnovers and 15.
Yeah, we had 15.
And I think they missed one. I think the stats missed one. I think there was an additional one in the first half, right? And I think, and so our young guys, and T does point this out in the text. He said, "Listen, it was good for us to get this experience, right? Especially our young guys, really good."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think you hit that nail on the head. I think our lack of experience showed, but I think there was still some, I don't know. We also, I hate to say this, but I think we just played sloppy too. I think that part of that is some of the experience, but I think, when you're at this level, I think some of those sloppy plays, whether you're 18 or 25, I don't think should happen. But yeah, I think our youth kind of showed today. There were definitely a lot of examples of that.
It was sloppy, I think, because of Memphis pressure too.
Memphis definitely put it on us. I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't like shocked at what I saw from them. I mean, they're aggressive, they're tough, they're long, they're athletic. It honestly reminded me of like before the game. I was like, this is like a pseudo Florida State, our kryptonite kind of thing. Like, those kinds of teams we struggle against.
Well, also, I think that we have Reese that handles the ball really well in tight spaces. But outside of Reese right now, I don't think anybody else does.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's changed. Guys are going to get better, right? I mean, you look at guys in the past who have gotten so much better after their first year or second year, right? And they just improve and improve. And this is a great battle test to help you improve. Playing against this other teams who are long, strong, fast, older, and athletic, right? A lot of 5th-year players. Javon Quinley is,
old.
Old. Well, if we had Dougie or Hav on, we'd get them.
They have a lot of guys on their team that they hit the portal hard and they got a lot. I mean, they got one like today from the portal, so he didn't play, but yeah, they have a lot of guys there.
Javon Quinley, this is his 6th year of college.
Yeah, I mean, I remember
and he's done 5 years. Caleb, what's his name?
Caleb
Mills, right? He was that
Florida State guy.
Team basically got kicked off the team in Houston.
Mhm.
That's what I was told from an inside source, so maybe I shouldn't make that official. Then transferred
Allegedly.
to Florida State and had
Yeah.
he's a good player, and he's
Mhm.
fifth year guy, right? The kid from St. John's, fourth year guy.
Yeah.
So it's you playing against good players who are their fourth and fifth year, or against the guys who are their first, second year. It's great. It's great experience.
Yeah, I mean, they were also, I mean, Memphis, to their credit, they were battle tested this year. I mean, they had an insane schedule. It's probably top 10 strength of schedule, but and they've won most of those games. So they've been battle tested and they've come out on top. So they've been in these games and they've had the experience of winning them and know how to handle that situation. And they were at home on top of all of it. So it looked like a good atmosphere in there. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough lesson to learn, but sometimes you have to learn those lessons.
Yep. Spence, what's been going on grounds, just amongst your friends with the team?
Well, I mean, up until we went home a couple days ago for finals, I mean, it was a pretty good attitude. Like going into the finals break, we had a little bit of a good hot streak. We crushed a couple teams in a row, got into the top 25, so people were excited about it. But I think that if people were on grounds right now, that people would not be happy. I mean, just watching that game, I don't think anyone can be happy if you're a UVA fan.
No, and then Northeastern, who was not a jerk.
Northeastern was not. I mean, Northeastern, you used to look at and like we had like 10 days off. It was not like it was like you're gonna have some of those, and I'm glad that we pulled it out. Obviously, it wasn't a great performance, but if you're gonna have a game like that, you're gonna want to win it. But kind of after that game, the idea is you got to turn it around, get your ass kicked in practice, and then um, and then turn around and crush the next team. At least put up a good performance in the next game. And as we saw today, we did not do that.
Yep. So based on the Northeastern game, based on this game, and I don't want to compare them to another team, where do we stand in the world of Power 5, Power 6 conferences? How good are we? What level are we right now? What would you say, Bars?
I mean, I think so. I'd say like Northeastern. I think just to a casual fan, maybe it seems like we should have just blown them out the water. But I mean, they are a well coached team. They played hard. I think the exam bug hits every team. I think when you take that many amount of days off and you're doing exams during that time, I think it hits everybody. So I wouldn't like read too much into that. Obviously, like it was closer than it should have been, but I think that just kind of happens. I mean, that's the beauty of scheduling. You want to schedule it that way after your exam break. You want to play, a team like Northwestern and not Memphis straight up. But so that's a positive. But yeah, I still think we're a decent team. We obviously have a lot of room to grow. It's only what month? It's almost January. We're still in December. We just have a lot of youth, right? You're gonna have to go through those growing pains. They're not all 5-star lottery picks, so there's just things they're gonna have to learn. They're in a unique system, so there's just things they're unfortunately gonna have to learn, and we're just gonna have to grow. Go with those growing pains with them, unfortunately. But I think when it's all said and done, I think we'll be a solid team. This is very helpful. I mean, I think this is a classic tournament game. In March, if we're playing a game like this, we can look back and be okay, like, we were months younger then. This is what we did wrong. Like, we can fix this. And I think it's good to play games like this. Obviously, Memphis plays a completely different style than, we're used to or that we see sometimes in our ACC schedule. So, it's a good test for us. So I think we're fine. I don't think the sky is falling or anything.
I mean, at the end of the day, you look at this as a quad 1 loss, so it's like really not going to hurt us very much in the long term. And I think this Memphis team is better than 23 or whatever they're ranked right now. They just beat Clemson and they just beat us by a lot. I think that by the end of the season, they're going to be probably a 4 or 5 seed, like if not higher. I mean, this is a good team. It's not like we got blown out by Northeastern. But I think there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. I think that we kind of needed this to kind of just a bit of a wake up call to be like, we're got to be better at a lot of things. And hopefully we make some of those adjustments and turn it around in the next couple of weeks.
So, Spence, before I ask you a question leading into the ACC play about this team, first, one of the criticism some people have of TB is that he doesn't let the team run.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to run a little bit today, and it didn't turn out well.
Yeah,
How
I mean,
is he going to react when he's watching film and going, look at that bad pass, look at that bad pass, look at that finish we didn't have, and he's going to say, this is why I don't – is he going to say this is why I don't want to run?
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like. I mean, I don't know. I'm not there, but I wouldn't say he was like maybe trying to run per se. Maybe like slightly, but I think their pace and their tempo kind of got to us at times. And I think with our youth, I think they kind of expose it, and then our youth kind of just kicked in. They're like, oh yeah, let's go, let's go. They're going, we're going. So I think that kind of kicked in a little. I don't know if they were necessarily told to run. They might have been. I don't know. I have like the couple games I have watched Memphis. I think they have sometimes gotten exposed on getting back, so that might have been a point of emphasis. Like if you want to run, maybe run a little, but yeah, I mean those turnovers definitely don't help in transition on the other end. So yeah, I mean I don't know if this is like it could be used as a valid argument, to not run or to run. I think the only way we can really test that is if we make an intentional effort, in practice to say like, all right, guys, we're going to run and we're going to drill this and we're going to practice this. And they might have done that. I don't know, but I feel like they didn't. But again, I don't know.
I would agree with you that I don't think it was intentional at times tonight when we did get out and try to fast break. I think it was off of bad turnovers from Memphis or off a steal. But the fact is we still tried to run and a lot of times weren't successful, right? We just tonight did not handle the ball well. And I think it exposed us right now. Memphis exposed us right now. And guys will get better handling the ball. That we don't, outside of Reese, we're not there yet with another ball handler, right? So our team's going to look at this and say, this is how we're going to play UVA now. We're going to pressure them if they have the personnel that Memphis does or close to it. I certainly would.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, I will say like, with Dante being out, it hurts also. He's an experienced guard who, can handle the ball. So that does hurt a little, a lot, actually. It hurts a lot. So, those younger guys are thrust into situations they probably weren't expecting or are as comfortable with right now. But yeah, I mean, guys are going to have to learn, right? Where you're playing at a certain level. So whether you have experienced guards or not, you're going to have to learn one way or another. So,
yep. What's the mood going to be from in practice tomorrow whenever they practice, because they're off now for quite some time, right?
Take 4 days off of practice. They come back on the 23rd.
Come back on the 27th against Morgan State, which we should play well against, but we should have played better against Northeastern too, so we never know. And then come back into start ACC play. Before we talk to Spencer about ACC play, what's going to be the mood of the coaches tonight, tomorrow? Ours.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just a lot of learning opportunities. I think you take the film and you break it down with what we did wrong and how we can learn from it. I think there's a lot of things to learn. I don't think anyone needs to be like too dejected about it. Obviously, the coaches, when they're watching, they might get frustrated at times or like, that was really dumb. I can't believe we did that. But I think they'll take it as a good learning opportunity, and I think we'll grow from it. I mean, there was just a lot of things to learn from there.
If they do that, which I imagine they will too, it's such a mature coaching strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're not beating your guys up and you're saying, okay, we're going to learn from this, and we're going to talk to the kids, and we're going to say, and this is what we're going to work on in practice. This is how we're going to get better. And there's a plan, there's a vision, right?
Yeah.
Instead of reacting emotionally, we got our butts kicked tonight. We've got to do this, this, and this, and this. We can't play this guy. We can't have knee-jerk reactions, right?
Yeah,
and them a really quality coaching staff and also quality people. You're not going to win all the time, but I think having your kid play for somebody, you want to play for somebody who's going to have a plan and have strategy and not just be screaming and yelling at guys. Which
yeah, and there's no like it's not like we have had a pattern of this throughout the season, right? Like usually frustration and knee-jerk reactions kick in when you're like, you've done something wrong, horrendously wrong for like 5 or 6 games, and you're like, all right, I'm done. You guys, I'm gonna blow up on you now. But it's kind of like this is obviously our worst game, I think. So I don't think anyone will have a knee-jerk reaction. Obviously, if this pattern continues, maybe a different story.
Pinning the coach, because you've been around some coaches, right, in other places who aren't, and I certainly have known and been around some people who aren't the the most strategic. I'll leave it at that. Who are not quality people, right? And are great mentors when it comes to coaching on people and understanding, like, okay, there's people lose, right? And how you. But I've always said this to Ron Sanchez. Whenever UVA lost, when Ty was there, during Ty's first year, especially because they didn't lose much his second and third year, I was like, you just lost. How are you so calm? He's like, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's really okay, right?
You have to be calm, right? It's a marathon. It's not like it's not a 3-game series and you're panicking. You're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? We have to get this right now. Like it's a marathon, right? And we're toward, we've started the marathon. We're a little bit into it, but yeah, we have to just learn and keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of keep going, we're 1 game away, right? Morgan State, and then we go into ACC play. Spence, what do you think going into ACC play after Morgan State? What's the mindset of the guys? What do you think the general feeling about this team is from the student population?
Yeah, I think that looking at our ACC schedule, we have a relatively light schedule considering the conference that we're in. Especially kind of starting up. We start off with Notre Dame, and then we got Louisville, NC State, and Wake, which they're all good teams, but not like top level ACC competition necessarily.
You're being nice. Notre Dame stinks right now.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about Notre Dame. I was talking more about NC State and Wake as
Louisville is not very good either. Right?
Yeah, Louisville, Notre Dame are not great. Then we got Tech, who will always be a challenge. And then Georgia Tech, NC State again, Louisville again, Notre Dame again. And it's really like we're kind of lucky this year that we get a light start to the ACC play to kind of get back into the rhythm and work on some of the kinks that we saw today. I think that if we could get those out through January and then we hit Clemson at Clemson February 3rd, I think that if we could get some momentum over those games and come out firing against Clemson, I think that would be a really good win for us if we could pull that out. But otherwise, I think that because of our scheduling this year, I think that I'm pretty optimistic. And I think that everyone else is going to be pretty optimistic going into ACC play just because we're going to start off with a couple of games that in theory should be pretty light for us. So we're going to crank off 4, 5, 10 wins in a row at starting ACC play. And people are going to be happy and we're going to hopefully build some momentum going into some of the tougher games.
Yeah, no. And then you're right, Spencer, looking at the schedule, right? Even in February, got at Clemson, Miami's okay. They're not as good as the record indicates, right? Florida State, not very good. Pitt is much better than they were last year. They've got some good players. And then Wake Forest again, who's solid. And, the Boston College is not very good. So you're right. I mean, we've got Duke and Carolina. I don't think Carolina is solid. I don't think they're that good. And they might get better, right? They've got a couple of young guys. But you're right. It isn't that heavy of an ACC schedule. And right now we're 1-0 in the ACC, right? It's true.
We are 1-0.
We're you make a great point, Spence, about going into the ACC and our chances, and also getting better and improving with these young guys getting more and more experience. Right. Speaking of young guys, one young guy I want to talk about his play tonight is Isaac McNeely. Right. I think some people said he looked a little timid. I thought he was aggressive. I just thought he missed some shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to.
Love how aggressive he was.
Yeah, it's easy to confuse those two when shots aren't falling. But yeah, I mean, he was aggressive, right? He was who we all thought and know and expect him to be. He's just shots weren't falling, and that's sometimes going to be the case.
We're bringing Spencer. You bringing these questions up?
Yeah, they're just different comments about IMAC, but yeah,
IMAC, right? And so, I love how aggressive he was, and he is not a great ball handler right now. He will get better at it this year, last year, and this year. By the end of the season, he's gonna get much better. By next year, he's gonna be really good. Chances are, right? He's got more experience he could, and I just think I thought he had some shots that were a little bit long. He had one that went in and out. He had one that was a little short, right? It just didn't fall. But the shots he took were big time shots.
Yeah, they were not out of the norm.
I do agree with one of the comments. I think I can't remember the guy's name. Pincus. Pickens, said he was susceptible to ball pressure. That is very true. Right? He absolutely was. And I know Spence made a comment earlier in the group chat that he thought he was hurt or there was something wrong with his ankle, which can affect someone's play. A lot of guys play are hurt, right? That's just the nature of college basketball and basketball in general. When you play this level of sports, you have to play hurt. So I don't know the status. You know better than I do, Spence.
Yeah, I think he's dealing with something a little bit. I don't think it's anything major, but definitely it shows a little bit in his performance tonight and his performance against Northeastern. Looks like the shooting stroke's a little bit off, but I think that it shouldn't be too much of an issue long term.
If he's going to remain aggressive, and my guess is the coaching staff are telling him, keep being aggressive, keep taking your shot. Right? They need him to. They really need him to. And speaking of shooting, we haven't had high level shooting. I think this offense requires high level shooting from at least two guys, if not three. Right? When you have three shooters in this offense is going to roll, and we're going to have really good players. Right? And even if they're not great players, you can still be a really good shooter. Right? And this offense, and we'll score points. Right?
Yeah.
Like the teams. 2015, 2016, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2015/16, 2016/2017, London's last year, he had to be a different player, right? Because Austin, what's his last name? Guy that was kicked off.
Nichols.
He was kicked off, and he was going to be a top player within the group. But you look at that crew, and we were successful when guys were shooting fairly well from the outside. Didn't have nearly the same level of talent at that time that the year before did. But there have been some guys with those teams where you had three guys that were shooting the ball. Right?
Yeah. It's neat.
They didn't lose. Right?
Yeah.
And so now we haven't really had that. Right? You have Trey and since Trey and Hauser, Sammy Hauser.
Yeah. No, we haven't. I mean, it's definitely been lacking a little. But yeah, you're right. You definitely need shooters. At the very least, you need like one very elite shooter for that offense. But yeah, two to three for sure. And we haven't had a consistency with it, right? I think there's been times where there's flashes here and there. But yeah, consistency, right? I mean, obviously consistency is key. If consistency was easy, then this game would be pretty easy, but it's not. So, but I think Isaac has it in him. Obviously, we've seen flashes like what game was it? Syracuse or whatever game it was where he just came out and knocked down like 8 threes in a row. It's there. So it's not like we don't have it, and we're hoping for something that's clearly not there. Like it's there. It just a little more consistency, and again, that'll grow with experience and time and all that. So
it will, right? Between Rhodey and McNeely, 0 for 9 tonight, right? If you go 5 for 9 or 4 for 9, right, and they were good shots, you go 4 for 9, 12 points right there. Different game, completely different. And Memphis isn't getting out in the break, and they're not scoring, and we start to develop some offense, so we keep it much closer to a different game. Or 3 for 9 even, right? So you're not going to make every three you take, and you're going to have some off nights. Spence, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot.
Yeah.
Are you making any changes in the starting lineup against Morgan State if you're Tony Bennett?
I think that yes. I think that I would. I don't know if Tony Bennett is, just because of the nature of who Tony Bennett is as a coach. I think that I've seen, aside from kind of the stretch of this game where it was kind of just a throwaway minutes, I liked a lot of what I saw from Leon Bond and Elijah Gertrude. I think that having them at some point getting into the starting lineup is definitely something that probably will happen, and I think that should happen sooner rather than later. Rhodey has had some good flashes throughout the season, but as we all saw tonight, was not his best performance. And against Northeastern, also not a great outing. So I think that either unless he's really turned it up in practice and there's something that we're not seeing, I think that at this point it might be gotten to the point where we're going to have to make a change there and give someone else a shot and see if they could turn it around.
So are you suggesting that Elijah Gertrude and Leon Bond would be in the starting lineup?
I think one or the other. One or the other.
Okay. I haven't really. This is the first time I've seen Elijah play full game, and I think he's going to become a good player, really good player. I didn't see anything tonight, right now, that shows that he should be in the starting lineup. Paris, you may agree or disagree.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think again, he's going to be a really good player. Like it's there. But yeah, I didn't see anything tonight and in past games where I would insert him into the starting lineup. Especially now that we're down Dante also. I think he's a great addition off the bench with what we have right now. But yeah, I wouldn't change the lineup per se. I think it's working right now. Obviously, it's hard to say that when after a game like that and some guys don't produce. But I think I like the lineup. I think there's potential there, even when guys like Rhodey didn't have a great night, but I think there's potential there with him. I think he can be a great scorer for us, and if not, I think Leon can come in off the bench and take that role as well. So I think I like our lineup. I don't.
Rhodey hovering around the 30%, 31% 3-point shooting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this offense to be really effective, he's going to shoot the ball better.
Yeah, for sure.
Tane's been shooting really well prior to tonight's game, especially, or Northeastern, right? But I think one element that Rhodey does add is the ability to handle the ball, especially within younger guys who aren't handling the ball that great. So Spence, it's going to be. I'm curious to see, like many other people, and I suggest, like, folks, hit the forum, send some comments into us now about who you like, who makes what adjustments you would make in the starting lineup or just in general minutes, right? Just what your minute distribution would be if you were TB. Let's talk about that. We know if Havs were on and Dougie Fresh were on, we know Dougie would be lobbying for Elijah. And Havs will be lobbying certainly for Tane, for one guy, right? And I do think that we can't ignore the element of ball handling, which Rhodey can add, right? And again, we don't know what's happening in practice, right? That where a lot of the indications of how hard these guys are working in their success and their auditions are happening on the practice report, right? Leading into the game. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll if we hear any news, Spence, if you hear any news, Bars, if you hear any news from the inside source, we'll definitely be talking about it. Maybe between now and Morgan State, we'll release some information if there is any adjustments. There are any adjustments. Spence, parting words.
I think we got to turn it around. Going to be running a lot in practice tomorrow, and we got to turn it around.
You think they're practicing tomorrow for us after coming home from Memphis tonight?
No, I don't think they're.
No, not tomorrow, but
they
the next practice. Yeah. Hey, if I'm the coach of that team, I think we're practicing as soon as we get home.
There are some coaches, guess what, right? There are some coaches that might be making their team run sprints in Memphis after this game was over. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Miracle on Ice.
Until
the lights go out.
Yeah.
That's a knee-jerk reaction. We can't have that.
Yeah. No, but there are some college coaches.
No, there are definitely some coaches who would do that. You are 100% right. You are 100%.
Some illogical, emotional coaches. Right?
Yeah.
That only think that winning and losing is we didn't play great, but again, the silver lining is getting some of these guys some experience, right? And turn the ball over and getting better. And this is a great game to get better. Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, everything we did wrong is, within our control. I think Coach Bennett loves control the controllables, right? So we can control how we handle, we can control our turnovers. I would say a lot of our turnovers were kind of just willy-nilly. They weren't. I think there were things we could definitely improve upon. There wasn't, the offense will come and go, but the other things I think we can control, and I think we can fix those. So it's positive.
And rebounding, right? Rebounding.
That is true. We know that's a weakness. So I mean, that's that comes with the territory this year.
Yeah, I mean that's just going to be, tonight actually, 32-32 in rebounding.
Oh, it was even?
Yep. Not a lot of offensive boards. I don't think.
A lot of the shots were going in to start.
Yep.
So it's hard
Yeah.
to rebound the shot that goes in. But yeah.
Right. You're not going to rebound makes.
Yeah. So.
But only 6 offensive rebounds for Memphis. So not too bad.
It was a turnovers tonight. The turnovers and the points off of the turnovers really kind of killed it there.
Yeah. Right. And not being able to hit a 3, right? Yeah. Do you have any other party words for us?
Nope, no parting words. I would just say the sky is not falling. So to anyone that
Not
believes
yet.
the sky is falling, the sky is not falling.
I like it. We missed the guys tonight. Hab was at his holiday party. Dougie Fresh chilling with the kids. T-Dub's all the best to him and his family. And Morgan State, December 27th, 7 o'clock. Folks, hopefully you'll join us. 6:30 pregame. We will be on for that. You two guys, if I don't talk to you, have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And if you're celebrating Hanukkah, if you're celebrating anything else, please enjoy. And we will see you guys very soon.
Go
Happy
Hoos.
holidays.